Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video I'm actually going to walk you through something that sounds like a mouthful at first, but it's I think something that a lot of you will benefit from, whether you're stock traders, ETF traders, futures traders, whatnot, and that is how you choose the best opportunity across multiple asset classes. And you might say, well, Rag, what the heck does that even mean? Alright, so let's talk about crude oil here for a minute. And, you know, one of the things that I seem to be doing this week is just highlighting trades that didn't go our way, because I think a lot of people in my position tend to want to give the illusion that all our trades are winners. And that's just not the truth, right? But to be where I'm sitting, most of my trades are. However, the best lessons that I can give are oftentimes on the backs of a losing trade. So is it fun talking about trades that didn't win? No, not even close. But if I can give you a lesson and I can give you a winning trade, because there was a winner here and I'm going to show you how we did it. And if you have a better way to discern between different opportunities across multiple asset classes, I know that what we're talking about is certainly not wasting your time, and I know I'm giving you tools to have a successful and long trading career. So here's how it goes. It's kind of like that song Dumb Bones and E-Bones connected to the thigh bones connected to the hip bone kind of thing. What are the related markets to crude? Well, I mean, some people might think, well, what about the Canadian dollar? And right now I would say no, because the Canadian dollar right now is being dominated by talk out of the Bank of Canada. Right, so I wouldn't go the route of US dollar Canada or even CD right now, because the BOC is kind of taking charge of that narrative. So what's next? All right, well, what else could CL influence? What about the OIH? What about XLE? What about XOP? Now you're thinking. So you're saying, well, Rog, these aren't futures contracts. You're absolutely right. But these ETFs key off the underlying futures contract that these companies that are in these ETFs rely on. Yes? So if crude's heading lower, and I've talked about this a lot in previous premium videos as well as in the chat, crude actually has been a very tough market to trade. Whether you're going the CL route, the USO route, or even playing mini crude, a lot of people didn't know you could trade QM, which is half the margin, half the size of CL. Okay? So this has actually been a very ugly looking chart compared to OIH. I've been in and out of OIH now today 3 times. OIH, the downtrend here is clearer and better than crude and allows you to play this narrative with much more predictability. So do I think directionally I'm right about crude? Yes, but the problem is it takes a scenic route. So my trust is low here. My position size is going to be lower. My stops are going to be tighter. I'm just not going to give this thing a lot of latitude. But while CL didn't do what I wanted, I got into my 3rd short on OIH. We have been shorting OIH since just about shy of 28. I think we've been short from 27.90. Then again, we got short around 26.60, I believe. And then we just got short again, 25.70 or 25.65. I have to take a look here. So here we are again, getting some really nice follow through to the downside. OIH is actually in many ways, to me, a better way to understand where crude is heading. In fact, I'll go so far as to say crude is going to continue to head down lower as long as OIH, XOP, you can throw XLE in there as well, until the heavier weighted stocks within these names start to show strength of their own. Crude oil is not going to reverse the downtrend. So when people talk about a top at crude between, say, 47 and 50, believe them, because until OIH breaks its downtrend, crude is not going anywhere but lower. And the easier way to play crude is through these ETFs. Now let me take it one more step. I know this is simpler futures, but I really want to give you things that you can take and really apply to multiple markets for the rest of your life. Think about the heaviest weighted stocks within the OIH. What are they? Well, the ones that I like to look at would be things like Halliburton, would be things like Schlumberger, would be things like NOV, Norville, Varco, National Oil Well Varco. I think I just end up calling it NOV, or anyway, that's a mouthful. And Rig, Transocean. I have all these shorthand little notes for all these names. And 3 out of 4 of them gave me short sells. So as I'm shorting OIH, and as I was shorting CL, and as I was shorting some of these stocks that had the clear downtrends or were at exhaustion points, a series of trades triggered across multiple symbols. Okay? That's what I want you guys to think about. And the 2 heaviest weighted stocks in OIH are HAL and SLB. And then when you get down the list, they get closer to, Rig and Barco and so forth. So I want you to think about that. And again, Crude has not been easy to trade. OIH has. Okay? Some of the heavier weighted stocks within OIH have been as well. And so when you say, well, I'd like to short Crude, what I want you to start asking yourself is, are there other ways I can do it? Are there ETFs or are there other names that are going to be cooperative? If you go into XLE, you can look at Exxon. You can look at Chevron. I'm not saying that these names are necessarily going to give you opportunities, but look, right? Schlumberger is also one of the heavier weighted stocks within the XLE. ConocoPhillips is. Oxy is. Ask yourself, are there trades here? And there may not be. The OIH has been way more predictable, and so that's why I've been going with Halliburton and Schlumberger. Okay, you can do the same thing with OIH, XLE, and then XOP. Here we go here. Okay, and again, look at the heaviest weighted stocks within, and then make sure they're in downtrends. Make sure that they're plotting with red grab candles. So we're talking about EGN, Marathon, which I believe is MPC, Tesoro. So notice some of these aren't heading lower. I don't want you to short those. I want you to short the ones that are in downtrends. Tesoro, don't want anything to do with it. However, if the market does hook around, this would be one to watch. So you look at some of these through the standpoint of relative strength. I know I'm kind of wandering a little far off the reservation here, but I want you to think about this. Look at the ETFs. Look at that heaviest weighted stocks within that ETF, and sometimes you'll see, well, CL doesn't look so good, or USO, but gosh, that OIH is beautiful, and it sure does take the sting out of the loss, since the 3rd winner we've had. We'll continue to play this to the downside. All right, gang, I hope this recap video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can hit reply in the email that you got this video on. I'm happy to help. Please be patient with me. On any given day, I could have upwards of 5-6 dozen emails, but believe me, I do read them, and I try to factor them into upcoming free videos and content that we do. So it's always appreciated. All right, gang, I'll see you in the next update.